It's very clear that the work that you all do in the news industry and journalism is obviously critical for democracy. I care about giving people a voice so that people can share their own experiences, so that they can share their opinions on things. But at the end of the day, in order for that to be valuable, there needs to be a strong and free press and people actually going and doing the work of uncovering the truth, right? And the important stories that people have kind of the basis and the ground truth to talk about, right? And debate and have that at scale. So it's no secret that the internet has really disrupted the news business model, and I just think that every internet platform has a responsibility to try to help fund and form partnerships to support news. Now, the thing that's been really challenging, that has made this take longer than I think either of us would have wanted, is that we've had this funny dynamic in our community where people come to Facebook and our services because it's a social network. They want to stay connected with their friends and their family and communities, and we get consistent feedback from the vast majority of people on our services that they want to see more content from friends and family and less other stuff. So it's created this odd dynamic where, on the one hand, we personally and kind of the values of our company, we really value journalism. Certainly, we've had a lot of conversations with folks who have pushed us quite hard to kind of show more of the content, to enter into relationships where we can fund more of the content creation. But it just was this kind of odd dilemma where while we wanted to do that, we were just getting consistent feedback from our community that they generally want to see more from friends and family and less of other stuff. So that kind of created an odd dynamic to then be setting up a relationship where we'd be going and paying for content that people were saying that they actually wanted to see something else instead. So the thing that's changed in the last few years is that we've gotten these secondary tabs to work, right? So for the longest time, newsfeed was basically synonymous with Facebook. That's kind of what the experience was. And I wasn't sure if we were going to be able to build other tabs or other experiences within the app that could get meaningful engagement. And what we found now is, we've built the marketplace tabs that people can go and buy and sell things. We built the watch tabs so people could watch videos. And it took a little while to get these things off the ground. In the beginning, it wasn't clear that they were going to be successful. And still today, the majority of people don't use them. But what we found is that even if 10 or 20% of people in our community really want a dedicated experience in an area, that can still be something that tens of millions of people in the US use and hundreds of millions of people around the world, and that certainly can be quite meaningful and worth doing. So that's what we've been working on, basically, is working on a dedicated tab for journalism, high quality journalism in Facebook. And this is going to be the first time ever that there is a dedicated space in the app that's focused on high quality journalism in order to help curate the top things that are in there. We're not only doing it algorithmically, we're also, we've put together a team of folks who have experience in journalism and a background in this. Because I don't think it's something that can just be done by computers. Of course, we have personalization as well in there, but at least for the top stuff, that's going to be done by people with a background in the space. Provenance, which I'm sure we'll get to, is just an incredibly important thing that you've pushed me on for a while. And then, of course, on a financial basis, this is going to be the first time that we're forming long-term, stable relationships and partnerships with a lot of publishers. And I know we've done a lot of experiments and tried different things in the past, and I know, frankly, that's also created a lot of thrash in the ecosystem when we tried something and it didn't end up working out the way we wanted. That's one of the reasons I wanted to wait until we could prove that we could get these other tabs to work before trying to do this in news, because I wanted to make sure that this could be a positive experience and one that we could commit to for the long term. So now, for the first time, we're making multi-year financial commitments and hopefully helping to make a kind of long-term sustainable business model in a way that we can be in business together. So that's kind of been the journey that we've been on. I'm really excited about this. I'm curious from your perspective. I mean, you've been on this journey with us and in your business as well. I'm curious kind of what it's what you've seen, what this journey has been like from your perspective.
Yeah, thank you, Mark. Mark's had quite a week, and normally the
this is like by far the best thing I get to do.
I was about to say normally the amuse-bouche comes at the start of the meal, but so first of all, look, a short soliloquy from me, and then we get to interrogate each other. But it is a pleasure to be here with Mark to announce a partnership, not just with us, but with many media companies, and a platform that actually is significant for the future of journalism. Look, as many of you know, News Corp has been rather outspoken in the quest for a premium for premium journalism. Obviously, as a media company, we have a vested interest in that cause, but it is also a cause with a social purpose, which is to protect and enhance professional journalism and the profound social role that it plays in this country and far beyond. As an executive, I've been able to make the case persistently and puckishly because of the enduring support of Rupert and Lachlan Murdoch. There were risks involved. I remember a conversation a couple of years ago with a media executive who said that he very much agreed with our content critique, but was, quote, standing behind a very large rock with a pair of binoculars to see what happens to you. The perceived potential punishment would be that an algorithm...
That was not me.
That was not you. It was... No, you have to come and see me later and I'll tell you. The perceived potential partnership or punishment would be that an algorithm would make your journalism disappear, or that it simply wasn't worth the digital distress of agonising powerful players. Now, it's obviously been a difficult decade for journalism. Pew estimates that the number of journalists working at US newspaper mastheads has fallen 47% during the past 10 years. Digital news startups have struggled to survive, let alone thrive, in a dysfunctional landscape that, for example, with First Click Free, actually punished premium journalism. A little corporate contemplation is also appropriate. Publishers and journalists are definitely not absolved from responsibility and need to be held to account for flawed strategies. Some have been too tardy in understanding that how readers read and when they read has fundamentally changed and is still evolving. We have to develop a coherent teleology of technology. But the landscape itself must change. And that was an imperative for us, and that is what makes the Facebook announcement so significant. It is a powerful precedent that will echo around editorial departments. Of itself, it begins to change the terms of trade for quality journalism, both in establishing the principle of payment and in allowing news organisations a clearer opportunity to generate advertising revenue on their terms. In the past, clickbait became the king of content, and egregious aggregation was the norm. Premium content had been commodified, and the hierarchy of journalistic excellence was torn asunder. Mark deserves genuine credit for this digital Damascene moment. There has been a bit of banter between our companies.
Just a little.
We've had occasional disagreements, a little content contretemps. But he has been consistently thoughtful on the subject of journalism. His individual introspection has obviously been a catalyst for an institutional response. Great journalism not only enhances the internet, it is crucial for the functioning of society, for the protection of rights and for public accountability. Great journalism will only be sustainable at scale if there is a fundamental change in the digital ecosystem. This announcement is an important step on the road. It's far from the end of the journey, but is certainly a moment to ponder and recognise.